playing Iggy what the kind of goal was when creating this hero?
Yeah, so the initial goal was trying to create a hero that had kind of like two distinct identities, like two parts to him, but it came together for something that was one coherent unit moving forward together. And it's designing that in the character and then also the theme of it as well. So that comes together with the fire and Iggy and Scorch, one of them actually supplying the burn, the other supplying the part of the oil. And you see, we kind of wanted to combine that and then include the turret style. The turrets are like his main identity, something that gives him a area of control. He's able to not only control and push the lane, but also control a little bit of the sides. And I think they ended up coming together really nicely. I'm super happy with the final product.
So from a strategic aspect, did you have a particular play style that you kind of started gravitating towards whenever you played Iggy? And then how did that kind of work with Adam? I'm sure you were providing a lot of feedback on it. What type of conversations did you guys have where you would apply a specific strategy and then maybe go back to Adam and say, hey, I was using these types of things. This is where he really shines. Can we kind of amp that up?
Yeah, so probably the biggest challenge when it came to designing Iggy and Scorch's kit was trying to find a way to make the turrets have a very distinct identity in his playstyle. For the longest time, he was played kind of similar to some of our other mages, with focusing on the E and that oil trap for like really poke out, and then you would save the turrets for either when you were getting ganked, when you were going back to just try and like push the wave, but you were mainly focusing on the E. And after showing him like a bunch of videos, gameplay of me doing well, gameplay of me doing not so well, we really came around to the fact that the turrets like weren't quite like holding the real identity. So after like a couple iterations on them, we finally got it to a point where now there's this really distinct balance between when you should be placing turrets, when you should be poking your E, and how you end up doing that. Because now the E is triggered by either auto attacking the air above it, having a turret down on top of it, or having some kind of burn in the area. So using the two in concert with each other, working towards a point where there was like a solid tension there, but definitely the turrets are the identity. That's probably the biggest struggle, and it also ended up in a really, really, really good spot. Those turrets, not only do they hurt, but they provide you with a ton of tactical advantage when laning and also when going through the jungle.
Right. So talking about his kit kind of in depth a little bit, and we have some highlight gameplay that we're showing right now. So his Q, which is his turret, he can place up to 4 if he levels them all.
Up to 3.
Up to 3, okay. Yeah. And then his E, which is the big oil slick that actually Scorch spits out that oil,
correct.
Right?
Yep.
And if you hit that with any fire, like you were mentioning, that provides a burst of damage, correct?
Yep, a solid burst of damage, and the way that can end up being burst ends up being really cool, because you can throw it down and just leave it there, wait for creeps to walk up on it, then you can either put a turret down on top of it, you can throw an auto attack on top of it, you can pre-auto the ground, because the auto attacks actually leave like a little burn spot there, wait for them to walk over, and then drop your E on top. That'll also pop it. Or you can pop it with your ultimate, so if you decide to like walk on top of somebody all in them, you can drop an E right down on top of their face as well. You'll get a huge burst of damage.
So like complete cohesion with the kit.
Yep.
All working together.
And then his right mouse is a slight speed boost.
Yep.
Or his
That's R1. Yep.
On PlayStation. Slight speed burst, and then he provides another oil slick.
Yeah, another oil slick which you can ignite. So then it ends up basically being you have all these turrets around you, and if somebody comes in to either gank you, somebody comes in to aggress on you, you can pop that R&B, start running backwards. They chase through it. You're moving a little bit faster. Toss an auto attack down on your feet. Now all of a sudden that little trail is on fire and they're ticking for even more. And now they have to decide, hey, am I really going to be able to kill this person through their turrets and through this oil slick, and he's moving down faster away from me? Okay, and now all of a sudden maybe they don't have as much offense to be able to kill you.
So for you, do you feel like you would rather play Iggy in one of the side lanes to avoid the gank, or do you go mid with them, place turrets? How have you kind of played him on Agora?
He's fairly effective in mid, but I absolutely love playing him in the off lane. I think he is probably one of the better suited lane pushers. He has all that in his kit. In between his turrets and the oil trap gives him a ton of pressure to poke in lane. And as soon as you have 2 turrets up, and people are probably going to be a little wary of this, but you basically become ungankable from the jungle, or rather than ungankable, really, really difficult to gank, because you can put 1 turret down just like by the shadow pad in the little connection area, and then you keep 1 up in lane, and then you're just as long as you play like slightly off the sides of either of those, if somebody comes around and ganks, boom, they'll get hit out of travel mode, they'll get rooted. Or they have to drop their travel mode, all of a sudden you hear the turret ticking, you're able to run back. Now the only way you're really vulnerable to a gank is if somebody who like has a vertical jump comes all the way around and then jumps up behind you. But then you still have a bunch of tools to like get away or at least make them pay for it. So I'm a really big fan of playing him in the side lane and then pushing, and kind of trying to bait those 1v2s.
Right.
It's probably the only hero where you ever hear me say, like, I want to get ganked. Like, I love when people come and try and gank me and I'm playing
You
Iggy.
really like playing with that lane control. It
Oh,
sounds like, yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So has there been a bit of like no camp can't play Iggy in the comp room because of your particular playstyle against him?
People certainly get frustrated.
I hadn't recalled. I didn't know people get frustrated playing against Iggy and Cam Ziggy.
It gets to a point where I'm kind of able to take over like a section or half of the map, and I will just sit there for the entirety of the game. It doesn't matter. Like I can be there for the first 10 minutes, make sure my jungler can focus on the other side. I say, hey, don't come over. Like I'm totally good. I'll be fine. Even if they gank me, like I'll be fine. Just go make them pay somewhere else. And then if it gets to a point where I just need to hold the lane, like I'm able to put turrets down to my flanks, make sure people can't come up, and between that and then buying like a couple of shadow wards, like you're able to be not only safe when pushing forward, but incredibly effective. And there have been a couple times, like finally, the team comes and they bring 3 to 4 people because I'm pushed like all the way up, but I'm able to take 1 or 2 with me, and then we're able to pressure on the map. So I think the identity of a lane pusher with him, with somebody who's able to not only control but also put out these like very quick bursts of damage. The only trade-off being like you are incredibly vulnerable. You don't have a hard dash. You don't have something to like really get you away from somebody else, with the exception of that RMB, and then trying to use the ult on your the knockback on your ultimate.
Right. And so during the ult, Iggy provides a Molotov to Scorch. Scorch then spits out flames, and then at the very end of the ability, he belches, and then it knocks him away. So it's quite a bit of humor, I think, in Iggy, more so than I think we've seen with other heroes so far, trying to show some of the personality with a lot of the heroes coming into the game. One of the things, and this is probably my last question for you, that I really want to hear from you is how you feel like Iggy synergizes with other heroes in the game so far.
I think he synergizes incredibly well, either from a siege or anti-siege standpoint. He's very well able to hold turrets, and my favorite combination is Decker and Iggy. And people might kind of look at that and be like, that's like, I wouldn't understand why that's really good. But there's no better feeling than when you get walled in to a Decker ultimate with 2 of the enemy shooters, and you're just able to drop down everything, and they can't run away from you. When you're stuck in that area, and Iggy is just able to drop down the turrets, pop his ultimate, and you have to sit there and eat the damage. Exactly, they're literally in the fire pit, barbecuing them, like, and it feels like, I tell people all the time, I'm like, just put me in the Thunderdome, let's go. And then you just run in, drop everything, and like, maybe I die, maybe they focus me out, but I guarantee you those 2 shooters aren't getting out alive.